If you're real, you're late, and if you're not, then you're the cruelest fiction heaven ever wrote. Hello, my tribe of frenzies. This isn't just a story, it's a reckoning, a eulogy, a search party for a man who might never show up. Dear Boaz, they told me about you before I even knew what to hope for. They said you'd be stable, not flashy, not loud, just solid. The kind of man who doesn't need to prove anything, because he's already built something worth protecting. They said you'd be a provider, not just of money, but of peace. A protector, not just of homes, but of conversations, of women's reputations, of atmospheres. You'd show up early, stay late, honor women, without performing masculinity to impress them. They said you'd speak truth without needing a stage. You'd smell like cedarwood and consistency. I pictured you, skin like bronze dusk, hands calloused from harvest, shoulders built like shelter, back straight, eyes steady. The kind of man who doesn't borrow confidence. He walks in it. They said your loyalty would be quiet. Your yes would mean something. Your no would sting, but it would never lie. You'd work, not just for a check, but because purpose lived in your bones. You'd see me, not as decoration, but as destiny. You'd recognize me without needing me to perform. You'd love me without needing me to explain why I was worthy of it. That's what they said, Boaz. That's who they said you'd be. But you never came. They say you're out there, Boaz, but all I've met are your shadows. They quote you, they mimic you, they even dress like you, but they don't walk like you, they don't love like you, and they sure don't wait like you. They speak scripture in the same breath they craft alibis. They want the benefits of legacy with none of the labor. One had your look, but not your loyalty. Another had your charm, but it only lasted until he was bored of commitment. And another, he had the gall to tell me he was my Boaz while entertaining 4 other Ruths behind my back. Tell me, Boaz, did you ever lie to Naomi? Did you ever breadcrumb someone in the barley field? Or did you just show up when it counted and cover what was vulnerable? Because I've met prophets who performed, warriors who wandered, and leaders who led nowhere. They all wanted submission without sacrifice, attention without accountability. They took your name, Boaz, but none of them could carry your weight. I waited, I prepared, I prayed. I didn't ask for perfection, just presence. But silence showed up louder than prophecy ever could. I made room in my heart, my prayers, my apartment, even left space in the closet. I stayed out of spaces I could have stepped into, turned down men who were available but not aligned. They said, don't settle, and I didn't. But now I'm wondering, did I wait on a myth? Or did I get caught in a misprint of heaven's manuscript? Because Boaz, I don't need you to ride in on a camel with 40 acres and a linen robe. I just need you to exist. I need to know you're out there, somewhere, that you're not just a sermon illustration, not just a fictional finish line dangled before women to keep them silent, patient, and hoping while generations pass like shadows. And you know what hurts the most? I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to show up. But you didn't. You haven't. So I keep scanning rooms for someone who carries your weight, your warmth, your wisdom. But the field is quiet. The path is cold. And heaven? Heaven hasn't said a word.
Still watching? Good. That means the story's doing its job. If you're locked in, hit subscribe. Drop a comment. Tell me where in the world you're watching from. And if you want to support this kind of storytelling, here's how. Cash App, $Flash Fiction Frenzy, or PayPal, paypal.me/Flash Fiction Frenzy. Now let's keep this energy going.
Maybe you were never missing. Maybe I was misled. They told me you'd find me if I stayed hidden, that you'd pursue me if I never made a move. that you'd admire me more if I dimmed my light and only spoke when spoken to. So I folded, shrank, waited. They said, "Don't chase a man." But what if I was never chasing? What if I was just trying to be seen? You weren't the problem, Boaz. The problem was the blueprint. They handed me a script, one written by people who feared a woman with voice, vision, and velocity. So I sat, cross-legged and holy, while counterfeits passed me by with praise and empty promises. They said you'd come if I was quiet. They never said you'd come if I was whole. And now I wonder, was I waiting on a man? Or was I hiding from the woman I was becoming? Because maybe I wasn't scared you wouldn't show up. Maybe I was scared I'd outgrow the need for you altogether. And if that's the truth, then I wasn't waiting on Boaz. I was burying myself to become someone he might want. And that's the cruelest fiction I've ever lived. So Boaz, get lost. You will never be found. Don't flatter yourself. You're not legendary. You're not legacy. You're not even real. You were just a dream. That overstayed its welcome. Don't bother sending directions. No one's coming to look for you. You were never a standard. Just a story. A bedtime lie told to women who were too powerful for their own good. You weren't late. You were never coming. And now, we're wide awake. This wasn't a love letter, it was a funeral, and the myth was the only thing buried. Because what they don't tell you is that grief doesn't just follow death. Sometimes it follows truth. When the fantasy folds, when the mask slips, when the story you prayed for turns out to be fiction, you don't cry because he left. You cry because you stayed. But now, you've seen the myth collapse. So bury what never lived, and rise like someone who finally knows. She was never waiting on a man. She was waiting on herself.
If that hit you, don't just scroll past like it didn't. Tap in, like, comment, share, subscribe. You're not just watching a story, you're already in the frenzy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. And wherever you're watching from, the US, the UK, Canada, or beyond, welcome to the tribe.